1 minute. That's what I was waiting for. I guess that group don't like me no more. I got kicked out of one group. That's alright. Some people get they have rules, and I respect them, and that's cool. It's not a big thing. Not a big thing. We got less than a minute, people. Less than a minute, we're going live. Let's hang in there. She's telling me right now. Hard hit it, entertain it. First time I'm live in there. Here we go, 5 seconds, people. Okay, you hear the intro. Hey everybody, welcome to the OST, the Opinionate Sports Talk Show's Debate, Dispute, Controversy with your boy Brian on this Monday night. I'm going to talk some NBA playoffs. Well, I'm going to tell you what's going on over there. I got some interesting things I pulled up about NBA passing Major League Baseball in popularity. I can see that happening and why. I'll tell you what I think about that. I'm going to talk about the NFL, in full swing of the off season, but they got some things to work out, like the national anthem, concussion protocol, and the catch rule. Going over some of those things, and we're also going to talk about what is up with Reuben Foster's ex-girlfriend lying. I got the whole story here for you. Stay tuned. We're going to get y'all into that. Tweet at me, your boy Brian25 on Twitter. I want to give a shout out to the sports groups that allow me to do this show. And I said I'd give them shout outs. If you're looking for a sports group to talk to on Facebook or get involved or have discussions, these are groups that I like very much. All Sports All Day, very good one. We have All We Talk Sports Society, All Sports Discussion, Sports Cave, Rep Your Team Talk Trash, Sports Mayhem, All Sports Domination, Mind of Sports and Entertainment, Max Salt Chamber, Inside Sports Source, National F-Bomb, I love the name of that one, National F-Bomb, it's one of my favorite names. Sports Talk 365, check out the Sports Jungle. We got the National Sports Group, they do a lot of college debates and talking there. Real Talk, Real NBA, NFL Talk, 365 Sports, and a league of its own sports. Thank you guys, and also I want to give a shout out to Guru Energy Drink, all organic, no GMO. It gives you good energy for a long-lasting period, and then with no crash. I drink them all the time. So let's get into this NBA playoffs, what's going on in this playoff series. I said before, it's hard for me to go against LeBron James. I mean, he's dead. He was down 2-0. He's winning. They're playing tonight. They have the lead right now. Let me see if I can check that for you. Why? I believe they're up by almost 10. They're up by 8, I believe. Cavaliers at the end of the third quarter. But I'm just saying, man, the Cavs don't have much. I mean, their team is very thin, I would say. Not physically, just they don't have a lot of players. Kevin Love, very good player. How many All-Stars do you have on the team? I thought it'd be they only won the number 4 seed this year, and a lot of people counted them out. They were down to Indiana. Now they're down to Boston, but Boston's playing really well. I like Jason Tatum. I think that kid is probably going to be a star in the NBA league soon. But it's hard for me to bet against LeBron. It's real. I don't care who he has on his team. I mean, he went to the finals with Dellavedova, or whatever how you say his name. You know, yeah, Kyrie got hurt and Kevin Love got hurt one year, but they still went to the finals, still went 6 games with the Warriors, 7 games. Very hard to go against LeBron. LeBron is an he takes control. He turns it up a notch. As much as people hate LeBron, people call him, LeBron romances and LeBron Jabonis, whatever they call him. You cannot deny how good this guy plays basketball. You just cannot deny how good of a player he really is. He is, he's breaking all kinds of records. He's in the conversations with, is he better than Jordan and all that stuff. My opinion, you guys heard me before, I think he's a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. I think Jordan is a very superb basketball player. No, I'm not taking anything away from Jordan. But if you look statisticalized, the guy is absolutely just demolishes every stat. He just passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most field goals made in the postseason. Now, postseason stats, I don't like to get into too much, just due to the fact that some players go more, so they have more opportunities. People talk about Mariano Rivera had the most saves in postseason and World Series history. Well, he was there a lot more. He had more chances. So postseason stats and final stats and World Series stats and Super Bowl stats, they're great, but it's just, I want someone to have a discussion with me, a legitimate discussion, a little bit debate. We'll dispute it, and we'll have we'll cause some controversy. I want people to tell me why they say Jordan is a better player without saying the number 6. Don't say 6 rings. Don't say 6 championships. I want to have a legitimate discussion about that, because if you look at stats, if you look at what he's done on the court, LeBron James has put up better numbers. Just my opinion. But like I said, back to the playoffs. I always get sidetracked there, but it's very hard to beat the Cavs when LeBron's on the team. This guy absolutely takes over the game. I'm not even a LeBron fan, to tell you that, to be honest with you. I like shooters. I like short guys. I like the speedy guys. I like guys that play defense. My favorite player in the NBA, obviously I'm biased here in the Bay Area, my favorite player is Klay Thompson. I think at 6'7", the guy can shoot as good as Steph Curry. He plays way better defense than Steph Curry. I think he's one of the fantastic players in the league that people don't really, when you're on a team like Golden State with Green and Durant and Curry, kind of get missed there. Yeah, he's an all-star, but I don't care about all-stars either. It's a popularity game in the all-stars. But it's very hard to bet against LeBron, especially in the postseason. In Game 1, when they lost, they shot 36 from the Cavs team shot 36% from the field. They only shot 15% from beyond the arc. A 3-point land, they shot 15%. In the game of basketball now, and the way it is, it's a shooting game. It's a 3-point game. It's just the way it is. And when you only shoot 15% from the 3, you're gonna lose a lot of games that way. You're gonna lose a lot of games. Yeah, they shot over 20, so I understand you can shoot 15% if you only shoot 10 times or 5 times, but they shot over, I believe, 32 times that game. In Game 2, wasn't much better when they lost. They had 15 turnovers. Boston only had 6. Boston has a very good defensive team. They're a very young team. They're going to be one of the better teams. They can stick this team together. And when Hayward comes back and Kyrie Irving comes back next year, this is going to be the team in the East that absolutely, I can't believe they got this far without Kyrie Irving and in Hayward. But when you have 15 turnovers and you're only shooting 32% from the 3 and 46% from the field in Game 2, you have a good chance of losing a game. You have a really good chance of losing a game. And that's what the Cavs did. They didn't shoot very well. They weren't getting a lot of spacing. They were turning the ball over a lot. They turned the ball over way too much, I should say. And you don't win games when you turn the ball over and you don't shoot. That's basketball 101. That's sports 101. You don't turn the ball over. And they turned the ball over 15 times, which doesn't seem a lot, but they're very costly. They were very costly 15 turnovers. In Game 3, they finally won. And you could tell the numbers went up. 49% from the field and 50% from the three-point line. Now, those are numbers that will absolutely blow your mind and win you basketball games. They're putting on a show right now. They're up by 13. They're going to even this series out 2-2. People that just hate LeBron, you got to figure out why. You know, well, Bronsexual, that's what people call him. I don't even know what that means. This guy has never had any controversy caused around him. No gambling, no rape charges, no domestic violence charges, no drug charges, nothing. Absolutely stellar career. Played 15 years, didn't retire and take a break and come back, get fresh legs and come back. People say, why you talk about that? It's not a big. It is a big deal. When you play as much as LeBron James has, and you haven't taken a break, the guy's a workhorse. It is a skill to stay healthy. I believe it's a skill to stay healthy in sports. When those players get hurt constantly and they're always hurt, there's something to say about that. It's a skill to stay healthy. And as long as LeBron's been playing 15 years and he's been in the finals such amount of times, he's been in the postseason so many times, you think about all that minutes he plays, all that energy he plays, and he's still playing ball at the top of the level. He's still the best in the game. He's still the best player I've seen in my generation. Yeah, I was around when Jordan played. I was a little young, but I remember watching him play. But I do remember how he changed the game and changed the way we looked at basketball. Jordan was a remarkable player. I'm not taking anything away from Jordan, but LeBron is something else. I mean, the guy, postseason has been a very long time. I've been on for about 5 minutes, man. I just started the show. I just started with the Cavs and the Celtics playoffs, and I think Cleveland won tonight, and they'll go on to win the series, and it's going to be six games. I'm going to say Cleveland in 6, if not 5. I just think that when you have a player like LeBron, you just cannot. You just cannot say how great he is. You can hate him for his hairline. You can hate him because he's better than your idol Jordan. You can have a conversation with me about why he's better than Jordan without talking about 6 championships. Tell me why. Oh, don't bring up era. I don't want to hear era either. That's another lame excuse. Oh, the eras are different. Can't play in that era. Oh, stop it. So, now, my Golden State Warriors, they lost the game. I knew they would. I said they'd win in 5. I still believe they're going to win in 5. It's going to be 4-1. It's a series. It was a game that we all saw coming. In game 1, Houston did not pass the ball. They weren't sharing the rock. They were just absolutely dribble, shoot, and forced to shoot. But they made the adjustments, which is very mature on D'Antoni and the Rockets side of the ball. But I just knew that it wouldn't last. I mean, I got my numbers here. I got to look at it. When they lost, Curry had 16 points. They shot 30 as a team. They shot 30% from the three-point line, and we know the Warriors do not shoot 30%. And I told a friend of mine, I said, this isn't going to happen all the time. It's just not going to happen all the time. You're not going to have a game where Curry only puts up 16 points. They're not taking good shots. They're not open. They're not shooting. They're not creating space. They weren't creating a momentum. They had no momentum in game 2. And I told my friend, don't worry. They're going to bounce back. It's very rare with as many stars and shooters and ballers on that Warriors team. It's very rare that 2 are going to have a bad game at the exact same time. It has happened, and it happened in game 2. But like I said, Now they're back in Game 3, and they absolutely blew them out. The Houston Rockets. They had 3 days off the mull over this loss to the Warriors. I mean to the Rockets. 3 days. That's a long time in basketball. They usually get 2 days rest. Sometimes they back to back. We're not in the playoffs, but Curry comes back in Game 3. They win by 41. Absolutely destroyed the Rockets. And like I said, you're not going to have 2 games in a row. You're not going to have 2 games back to back. You're not going to have 2 games in a series where Clay and Curry only shoot 3 from 18 from the three-point line. It's not going to happen twice. Curry puts up 35. They shoot 53% from the field. They shoot 41% from the arc. That's the Warriors style of basketball. And they just share the ball, they pass the ball, they move around. Houston had 20 turnovers. The Rockets were outplayed. They made the adjustments in Game 2, but the Warriors made a better adjustment in Game 3. And it's going to go 4-1. I just absolutely feel that no one can stop this Warriors team. They are probably the most exciting and best basketball team I've seen in my lifetime. Yeah, the 95 Bulls, 96 Bulls, I get it. Can't talk about era. If you were playing in, if you want to talk about those teams playing each other, I don't care what era it is. Bring back the hand check, take out the zone defense, play in the 90s, playing the mid 2000s. The Warriors win that game. I just feel they're just a better shooting team. They're just a better shooting team than I've ever seen. I'm also biased, so I'm just gonna say that the Warriors are the best team I've seen. But they had Houston. They played superb defense. The Curry's fourth quarter was outshined everything else that the Warriors did that Game 3. His 35 points, 20 turnovers. They had Trevor Ariza was irrelevant. I don't even think he was on the court. The guy was irrelevant in Game 3. CP3 shot 2 from 8 from the three-point line. He had 13 points. See, the sad thing about Houston, as good as a team as they are, they're one-dimensional. You shut down one player. You have Harden only take 6 three-point attempts and go 2 for 6 with a three-point line. You're doing a very good job. You have them turn over the ball, and James Harden absolutely turns the ball over way too much. He is a turnover machine. The guy turns the ball over constantly, way too much, and to me, it outshines his play on the court. And I watch basketball a lot. I played, I think, 1 year of organized basketball. But basketball has always been a passion of mine. I know the game. I know the ins and outs of it. But what confuses me is how these players do not, or coaches, to defend Harden. I would think from me watching the Rockets play is he always goes to the left. He's a lefty, so he's always going to the left. And he has a good crossover, not a great crossover. He has good handles, but not great handles. And he does that step in, step back, jump shot. He goes to the left. That's all Harden does. He shoots from the 3 with a step back, or he drives the hoop to the left, on his left. He always goes up with his left. Just defend him on the left, force him to go right, make him beat you right-handed. I'm not a genius. I'm not an NBA coach, but I would think that's what I would do. But they're one-dimensional anyway. I don't see Houston getting past the Warriors, and it's going to be a 4-1. They had their bad game. It's going to be a 4-1 series. Golden State had their bad game. They shot their bad series. Clay and Curry both had their bad games at the same time. You don't see that much. It has happened, but you're not going to see it twice. You may see it in the finals, but you're not going to beat the Warriors 4 times. They're just stacked, and they're a well-coached team as well. Well-coached team. That team is, Kerr is absolutely, he's a great player, a great coach. He learned from Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich. Who else can you learn from in the NBA as a player and a coach. So, you can't bet against LeBron. I'm not saying I think the Cavaliers will win the series. I think as good as Boston is and as well as they're playing, they're not quite there yet. They don't have their star player to rely on. They're playing it collectively. They're playing a very good team. They're playing good defense. They're playing really, really good, but they're not good. They don't have that star to rely on, and you can't bet against or go against LeBron James. Very tough to bet against LeBron James. Very hard. So I'm saying Cleveland in 5, and I'm saying Warriors in 4. Warriors are just stacked. I know people get tired, they get bored. Oh, same boring series. LeBron, Curry, Warriors, Cavs. Hey, if you're not a Cavs fan, you're not a Warriors fan, you're the only one saying that. I had someone on Facebook tell me that it was a boring game the other night. They won by 40. And I said, yeah, to those that don't like the Warriors, those that don't like basketball and a great blowout, I thought it was a fantastic game. I love shooting games. I love games that absolutely put on a show. And I think that's what the Warriors did. They put on a show. 41 points. They beat the Rockets by 41 points. That is a big blowout. So, Cavs, Warriors, another finals. Heard it first. Probably not heard it first, but you heard it from me. Tweet at me at your boy Brian25, which is right here. And Debate, Dispute, Controversy is the name at the OST, the Opinionated Sports Talk Show. Find us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, SoundCloud, any podcasting app. Just type in Opinionated Sports Talk Show, and you will see it. I'm just checking the Facebook. What's going on here? So the season's over in the NBA for a lot of teams. There's only 4 teams left, and the 2 finalists are going to be in the finals again. It'll be Cavs and Warriors. So there's going to be 2 teams left. But there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that are going to start. The owners, general managers, players are going to start working on or thinking about now. If they're not ready thinking about it, as soon as their season was over, they started thinking about it. The big stars that are free agents, that may be leaving a team, that were hurt and contract, that is the problem. Not the problem, but that is what the general manager are thinking about and owners thinking about right now. This summer, I'm telling you, it could be a very... Hold on, I got itchy there. Can be a confusing season, an off season for the Warriors. Not Warriors, in basketball in general. I don't know why I said Warriors. They're still on the brain. This summer could be very complicated and very confusing for the NBA teams with these stars. LeBron James. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Of course, Cleveland wants him to stay. They'll be happy he stays. If he goes, where is he going to go? LA, Philadelphia. Where is he going to end up at? Deciding whether 33-year-old CP3 Chris Paul, is he worth the max money? Did he bring anything to Houston that elevated their game? They're in a Western Conference final. Yes, that elevate that, but he's 33 years old. Is he worth the max money next season? Who knows? Another question that they're gonna another franchise, another question they're thinking is New Orleans. What are they going to do with DeMarcus Cousins? DeMarcus Cousins, he's not making the Pelicans' jobs any easier right now. The general manager and the owner, he's not making their job easier. Determining the amount of money he gets post Achilles injury. What's the value in that? How are you going to value DeMarcus Cousins? You go on past seasons, or are you going to go with what he did in New Orleans? Or are you going to take the chance on him? But the confusion is, here's where social media comes into play. And social media can be a very big negative, but it could be a very big positive. Is he took off the Pelicans on his Instagram. Oh my God, that's a big thing, right? If you're not going to play for a team next year, you're not going to follow them on Instagram and Twitter and all that, right? So that caused a little worry issue over there in New Orleans. You know, is he trying to say something? Is he making a statement that doesn't want to come back? Or is he kind of putting his foot down and say, this is what's going to happen if you don't sign me? If they let Cousins go, they let Boogie Cousins go, it's not going to open up some huge cap space. It's not going to make them New Orleans get a lot richer all of a sudden. But if they do sign him, it brings a problem with luxury tax to New Orleans. But they could do the sign and trade. They could sign him and trade him, but that depends on the value that what other players think he's worth. He's just coming off that the post Achilles injury season. What is his value? How you determine that? That's going to be New Orleans' problem, is thinking about that. I'm going through my notes as I read this. The biggest one, other than LeBron James, I believe. Hold on. Guru Energy Drink. Check them out. The other biggest star problem is going to be San Antonio, and what are they going to do with Kawhi Leonard? Kawhi Leonard, the two-time Defensive Player of the Year, played 9 games last year. Did not play in the postseason. He was cleared to play. Did not play. Why? Hasn't really been said. The Spurs are on one side of the fence. Kawhi Leonard's on the other side of the fence. They have started there's a little tension going on there. I don't got the whole reasoning why. I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything of what the real reason. There's a lot of speculation of what's going on. A lot of guessing of the tension between them. I think Coach, President Popovich has the ability to mend this together. He did last year with DeMarcus Aldridge. Give him the chance to do that and see if they could, work this out and get him back on the court. Because Kawhi Leonard's a great player, young, great defensive player. Like I said, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year at his young age. The Spurs might decide whether. Let me rephrase what I'm gonna say here. The Spurs must also decide whether Kawhi Leonard, is worth the designated player extension. He's eligible to sign before the NBA books reset next year. He came off the injury, played only 9 games, just like the DeMarcus Cousins. He was hurt, now he's back. How do you figure it out? But the problem with San Antonio and Kawhi is they have this little tension going on. He was cleared to play, didn't help in playoffs. Could have played the playoffs, could have played against the Warriors. I believe he would have made a difference. The Warriors still would have won, but he would have made a difference. The worth that he's bringing, are they going to offer him a 5-year extension? Is he worth, I should say, a 5-year extension, $220 million, to a player who hasn't, in his own group, measured up to rejoin the rotation? What that means is they take players of his position, of his caliber, of his age. They figure out who's the best one, or they grade them, and then the money is divided or figured out by their stature. If he's the best player in his group at that position, which group means position, age, division, everything is considered, then he gets the max money. Which Kawhi, if he would have played this year, he could have got the 5-year extension with a $220 million contract. But now they know now it's going to be a crapshoot. Now the Spurs have an option. They could wait till he's a free agent at the end of next season and see how he plays, how much he plays. What if he becomes MVP? What if he? But then you're taking a chance of him because it is a player option at the end of this year. It gives him the option to go somewhere else. Do you wait half the season and start negotiating? There's a lot of things. Then there's the option that Kawhi Leonard could demand a trade. They could do the sign and trade thing as well. There's a lot of things going on in the NBA that are not talked about right now because it's the finals are going on right now, and no one really knows how to handle this situation. The big problem I feel, other than the Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James, is gonna be Oklahoma City fans. I'm sorry. I told you it wouldn't work. It did not work. But the question is, can Oklahoma afford to pay Russell Westbrook $205 million over the next 5 years if Paul George leaves? Paul George has made it known he wants to play in LA. The Lakers have a lot of cap money, a lot of cap space, I say, a lot of money in their cap space. The 76ers are a team, is a young up-and-coming team that can use someone like a Paul George, a veteran. They're going to get a lot of cap space. George could bolt. Paul George could leave. Oklahoma has to realize that I feel, they made a mistake in making Westbrook their franchise player. He's been there, James Harden was there, gone. Serge Ibaka was there, gone. Kevin Durant was there and gone. Now Paul George is there and gone. The guy cannot win no matter who you give him. And that's the problem. Losing George does not, if they do lose Paul George, it's not does not arm the Thunder with breathing room in the cap. Just because he leaves doesn't make the Thunder get a lot more money or a lot more cap space. They're already over the cap, with or without. I'm sure that they'll adjust it and make ways if he wants to stay. He is signed through the next season, but the problem is another issue on that team is going to be Carmelo Anthony. 2019, Carmelo Anthony's salary comes off the books, doesn't guarantee anything. The Thunder still have more than $77 million committed to Westbrook alone. So here's my issue. When you sign a player, one player, basketball's a little different, especially speaking more of football. When you sign one player and there's a cap space work, and you sign one player to the max deal and all this money, it leaves very little room for other players to be signed, other great players to be signed that deserve big contracts. Westbrook is not worth the money they gave him. He is not a franchise player. He has proven that he cannot carry a team. It's proven that he cannot play with these teams, great players like Durant, Harden, Ibaka, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. You can give this guy, you can put him on the Warriors, and I feel the Warriors would start losing. I mean, he seems to be that kind of player. Athletic, very athletic, probably the most athletic player in the game. He's a baller, but he's a me first, team second player, and he's proven that he's kind of being a little bit of cancer. George will render all of his money if he resigns with the Thunder. He will get all his money if he resigns. They can bankroll Westbrook's next 5 years if he's paired with another superstar. But that depends on Paul George. It's very complicated. Westbrook is a free agent the end of the 2020 season, 2021 season. Is he worth $77 million that they're going to pay him? Is Westbrook worth the $77 million that is holding this team from signing? And like I said, you can sign it. You can get Kawhi Leonard. You can get all these other LeBron can go there, and I'm telling you, Westbrook is going to mess things up. The guy just cannot win. He's playing with great players. Kevin Durant, arguably the best player in the game today, and yet he couldn't win. James Harden, probably going to be the MVP, which I don't think he should be, but he could possibly be the MVP, and he played with him, could not win. Hold on 1 second here. I'm trying to. Never mind. Moving on. Just a lot of stuff that I want to get. Where's LeBron going to end up? What's going to happen with Oklahoma and the Westbrook and the money situation with Paul George goes or stays? The Kawhi Leonard issue. What's going to happen with that in San Antonio? DeMarcus Cousins, is he going to end up somewhere else next year? Social media says he's going somewhere else because he's not following the Pelicans anymore. Oh my, that means a lot. Apparently, in the social media world, that's what it means. How much time do I got left? I should have about a half hour. Yeah, good. Let's stick with basketball here. I found something very interesting, and I want to talk about it a little bit here. Basketball has really evolved. Basketball has really upped its game, no pun intended there, but they really have changed immensely over the last few seasons. Probably the last, I'd say, 5-6 years, maybe 5-7 years. All the numbers have improved. The popularity of basketball has always been behind football and baseball. Now, baseball is struggling. I'll tell you that right now. Numbers are down. The average age range is like 50 to 65. It's American pastime. It's been around since the early 1800s. So it's getting, I don't want to say old because it already is old, but it's, it's getting old, and not in the sense of old. It's played out baseball. I love baseball. I still watch baseball, of course, go to baseball games. But the popularity has really gone down. The new commissioner, what's his name, Mansfield, I believe his name is, has tried his best to improve the game. He's made these new rules, speed up the game. I get it. But the popularity, here's how I feel about baseball. I won't watch baseball on TV. Even if there's nothing on, I will watch it for a very short period of time to see a good player, my favorite player, hit, pitch, and then once that's done, I'm flipping back. Now, I love to go to baseball games, out in the sun during a day game, have a beer, have a hot dog, take me out to the ballpark, great. Night games, go out there at night, bundle up, get yourself a hot chocolate or something, great. But basketball, I love watching basketball on TV. I will watch I will watch 2 basketballs in one night. I will go to a basketball game. It doesn't matter. Go or stay. Basketball is just entertaining. It's a star-driven league. It absolutely is. The latest polls by Gallup, it's called Gallup, shows basketball has surpassed baseball in popularity, and soccer is not far behind. Now, I'm not surprised soccer's not that far behind. Unsurprisingly, I like that word. Unsurprisingly, with all the controversy that surrounds the sport, 37% of people say football is their favorite sport. Hands down. Football is the top dog. Top dog football is. By far the most of any sport. The reports add that baseball is at its lowest point ever. Only 9% of the population says it's their favorite sport. 9%. That's a low number. So football's at 37. They're at 9. Um, when you read, when someone says baseball, when someone says, let's watch baseball, you think of Major League Baseball, right? Very, very few think of minor league baseball, World League Baseball, you know, college baseball, college World Series, Little League World Series. When you say baseball, you think baseball, right? When people say football, they think of the NFL, college football. They think of Canadian. They think of all. There's different levels of football. College football, and they think of NCAA. When you say basketball, same thing. You think of NCAA basketball. When you say soccer, you think of Major League Soccer. You think of World Cup. You think of the Premier League. There's other options for you to think about. Baseball. When you say baseball, you think of Major League Baseball. You don't think of college baseball. You don't think of minor league baseball. You don't think World League Baseball. You don't really think about those too much. There are people that do, fanatics, baseball fans, they will. But when only 9% say that baseball is their favorite sport, it's a very low number. And when baseball has lost its mojo. I still love baseball, but I'm just saying, I'm one of those guys that, like I said, cannot watch a full baseball game on TV. Cannot do it. I'll go to as many baseball games as I can, but I cannot watch a 3-hour two and a half hour, 3-hour baseball game on TV. Just cannot do it. Basketball, can. Basketball is such a star-driven league. You know, baseball games, you got 40,000, 50,000 people there outside. How many stars go to you? Once in a while, oh look, former Hall of Famer Barry Bonds is there. Oh, he should be a Hall of Famer, but Barry Bonds there. Former President George W. Bush is in the stands. You don't know that unless they point it out. Basketball, they're right there. You see them. You'll see Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting on the court. You'll see Spike Lee and Jack Nicholson sitting there. You'll see the celebrities sitting courtside on TV. You'll see them multiple times. Players go back and forth. You'll see the camera pan over them multiple times. It's just a star-driven league. It's just the way it is. And I'm 100% believe that baseball is slowly, it will never die. It will always be around. But it's going to be, baseball's always been like the number 2 popular sport behind football. Football is always going to be number 1. But I just think that when basketball is at 17% of the most favorite game of that people watch, and baseball is only at 9%, there's something going on there. Now, and baseball has, maybe it's overexposure. Maybe there's just too much going on in the baseball world right now that you got the Major League Network, you got TBS, it's on Fox Sports, it's on, Channel 7. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it kind of grind it down a little bit. It got overexposure. So Barry Bonds absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. I got a comment on Facebook and the Sports of Mind of Sports and Entertainment, MSE Sports Group. Barry Bonds absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. How are you not going to put him in the Hall of Fame? I'm baffled. This guy's the best player to play the game. In my opinion, he's the best player. Best player. I've seen him play in high school. I watched him in college. I watched him with the Pirates, and being a San Francisco fan, I've watched him his whole career here in San Francisco. You may throw excuses out there like, oh, steroids and era. Then if that's the narrative that people are setting in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, the narrative is that you can't have any controversy surrounding you, then you're going to have to take out domestic violence people, under the Hall of Fame. Cocaine users in the 70s and 80s. Um, Players that have been associated with drugs or steroids in baseball. You have to not let them in either. You can't. How is Pudge Rodriguez in? Mike Piazza. These guys were all accused of the same thing. And let me say this: Barry Bonds, as obvious it is that he probably used, and people out there, you know, the haters, people, the press, they know everything, right? They're 100% sure, but he's never tested positive. Let that soak in. Never tested positive. I know, there's probably a good chance. His trainer, Balco, I know it's him. But what's the narrative? What's the line that they're going to draw to not let in the Hall of Fame? And let me ask you this question. I always ask this question when people bring up. That's their favorite line. Oh, steroids, Barry Bonds, steroids. Let me ask you this question. If Barry Bonds is on steroids and Roger Clemens and Curt Schilling are on steroids and they're facing each other, who has the advantage? And how much do steroids actually help a baseball player hit a ball? It doesn't improve the eye-hand coordination. You still have to elevate the baseball. Yeah, it may go a little bit further, get a little stronger. But I don't know. If the playing field was level, I would say over 75%, 80% of the Major League Baseball players at that era time, in that time of baseball, were all using. And you got to remember, what they were using was not illegal. So how does that play into it? So you got to think, how does that work? Did pitcher have advantage because he's on steroids to make him throw the ball faster, more accurate, or did the hitter have the advantage because he hit the ball harder and further? What's the line? You know, isn't the playing field level? If I have a gun and you have a knife, the playing field isn't level. Now you have a gun and I have a gun, the playing field's level. We're both even. So baseball at that time, I would say 80%, if not more, were on some sort of steroids. And Barry Bonds 100% deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. There should be no question. If you listen to my show before, listen to the podcast, Hall of Fame in sports is an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke. It's not a Hall of Fame of the best players. It's a Hall of Fame of who's the press like, how long they played, if they were likable, and if they were popular. I mean, Edgar Martinez, one-dimensional player. David Ortiz, you gonna get in? One-dimensional player. Well, yeah, because the pitchers are one-dimensional, right? This guy only played every fifth day, every fourth day, and he has all these wins and stuff like that. You let him in. So what's the narrative? What's the line that you're gonna draw? Not getting the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, Hall of Famer, hands down. Hall of Fame is a joke in all sports, especially baseball. Especially baseball. Let me check my time here. I want to talk about, man, you know, I gotta apologize. I gotta say I'm sorry. I was like a press guy. I was like a media guy. I was like a TMZ guy, and absolutely crucified Reuben Foster for his domestic charges that he was charged with. Absolutely crucified him and called him. I called him Lawrence Phillip II. I called him Alden Smith II. Absolutely desecrated the guy. I apologize to Reuben Foster. Because his girlfriend, excuse me, his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, former girlfriend, Elisa Enos, the former girlfriend of San Francisco 49ers Reuben Foster, testified Thursday in the preliminary hearing that Reuben Foster never put his hands on her, and that she lied a lot, quote, lied a lot, to the authorities about the alleged domestic violence incident. Now, I'm glad to hear this. It's a shame, because she went on to say that she felt she needed to tell she went on to say she felt to tell the truth, and she had to do the right thing and come clean. Now, it's a damn shame. This girl, out of being vengeful, a woman scorned is the worst woman of all, I guess they say. This guy has a young. This guy's young, has a whole career ahead of him, very talented player, and just because he broke up with her, she's trying to ruin. She said that it says here, Enos is her last name. Enos, who testified against the advice of her attorney, she made up the whole story because she wanted to ruin Foster's career and sue him for money after he broke up with her. That's some low I honestly think that she should be arrested. She should do some time. This guy did nothing wrong, didn't put his hands on her, and people like me absolutely crucified him, and we're calling him names, and a woman beater, and calling him Lawrence Phillip II, and we don't want him in San Francisco. He's a loser. They should draft another linebacker, I said during the draft. Don't even bother with him. Now, I'm glad no one listens to me. I'm glad no one pays attention to your boy Brian here. But Enos told the authorities that Foster had hit her 8 to 10 times, dragged her out the house, threw her on the ground, spit on her in a domestic altercation. Now she's saying it never happened. She had apparently gotten a fight the day before this incident, down over here in the city on Embarcadero. Road rage incident happened, and she apparently got into a fight with another lady. That's where she sustained these injuries that she said Foster had done to her. She was making breakfast the next day after this altercation for her and Reuben Foster. He comes downstairs and tells her he wants to break up with her. She said she wanted to ruin his career and sue him for money. I don't think you get any lower than that. Absolute straight up lie, and it's an embarrassment to women everywhere that women like this exist. Now there's men that they do exist that actually do things like this, and that's an embarrassment to us men. But she stole money from him. She stole 2 Rolexes, I believe it says. Let me look at my report here. She also made it to stealing more than $8,000 from Reuben Foster's bank account because she had his routing numbers and account numbers. She also took 2 Rolexes. The $8,000 was returned. I can't get over that. I just can't get over the fact that she, out of being, just because the guy broke up with her, and she knew she wasn't going to get married and get paid and be a millionaire, housewife of San Francisco, she goes and trumps up some domestic violence case against this poor guy, tarnished his reputation for a minute there. I was one of them. I said, let him go. No more. We don't want to deal with it in San Francisco. Draft another linebacker, get him out of there. We don't want to deal with it. I said, we're rolling right now, making some good moves, and we don't need the distraction or whatever. And I'm telling you right now, Reuben Foster, if you ever listen to this podcast, you ever see my Facebook, I apologize 100%. That woman, Elisa, what's her name? Elisa Ennis, I think she should be arrested or charged or something. What do I got? About 5 minutes left here. Sticking with the NFL, offseason is right now. It's the draft is over. Free agency's over. Now it's time for the Roger Goodell and his team to get to work on some things. They said they have some priorities: the catch rule, concussion protocol, and the national anthem. They're going to enhance. There's respect. Nothing's been said. These are just talks that are going through right now. To enhance The concussion policy. This must be an annual task for the NFL as technology improves and the scrutiny behind the concussion it gets worse. Reported concussions rose to their highest with 281 since the NFL began releasing data about concussions in 2012. The league already made material policy changes. I wrote all this down trying to read this. Material policy changes to its game day protocol in late December last year. But they're thinking about adding a third independent neurologist to the stadium on site and a fourth watching from New York Central Station on camera. That's what they're talking about right now. I think they need to. The NFL numbers have been down. They can't blame the election. People in high school participation in football has been down too because, like I said, you can't blame these people for not letting their kids play high school football with all these concussions. You cannot blame them for doing that. Real quick here. You have a son, he plays football, you're going to worry about him, and you don't want that. Numbers are down. I think they're doing a good job with it. I think adding a third non-NFL licensed neurologist team to the stadium that you give these players a check is very important. I think it's a good move to help the concussion protocol. They're going to have a fourth team watching from a New York Central Station. I think that's a good thing. People still posting stuff. So I don't think they can do too much. I think they can never have enough of checking for concussions. Another thing they're going to talk about is very important. It happened all last year, and they're going to unify. They're going to try to unify or come up with a unified program for this national anthem. The league needs to somehow get a policy in place for all team personnel during the national anthem. If right now it's not mandatory, you're not there's no mandatory to stand, sit, be a part of the national anthem in the NFL. There's three possible approaches they're talking about. The NFL could voice a clear support for players making a social and political statement during the national anthem. They could say you're free to do that. It's your choice. Pretty much what they did last year. Kind of caused a lot of problems though. The second choice would be it could prohibit all anthem demonstrations and require a strict stand at attention. I don't like that. I think that's forcing, and you're taking away their right to protest. And I think the protest was very good, very helpful. It was at a time that, and people got to understand what they're protesting for, and they're not against the flag or America. That was the issue right there. And the third one, I think, is probably the best option that they're talking about. They could go ahead and scrap get rid of the whole national anthem standing. Anyway, they should have the players in the locker room like they did 10 years ago anyway, and not even have that problem. They shouldn't even have that as an issue. Just make all the players stay in the locker room, all personnel, after this national anthem, which is just the national anthem is just a government thing to try to entice young people to join the military. And yes, I like it. It's nice to hear national anthem, represent your country and love all that stuff. But it's not that important to me. If they scrapped it, they didn't even play it, or if the players weren't there, it doesn't bother me whatsoever. It's a situation that was not taken care of. They're working on The last one, obviously, they're going to try to clarify the don't catch, the catch rule. The catch rule is clear. They're trying to make it clear and cut, but I don't know how they're going to do that. There's been a lot of controversy over the years about this catch rule. Those are the three priorities that I would say they're talking about. But I'm running out of time here. I just want to give a shout out to Guru Energy Drink again. Organic energy drink. Good energy, smart organics. Gives you a good energy boost with no crash later. And I want to give a shout out to, check out this app called Sports Connect Us. It's an app. Go to the Google Store, the Apple Store, whatever they're called, Google Play, and type in Sports Connect Us. And it's a sports app. Let you connect, talk, post pictures on different categories or in all majorities. But thank you guys for listening. Find us on iHeartRadio. I'll be back next week. Talk some more sports, of course, and cause some more controversies. Have a debate. I'll dispute it, and we'll have some controversy. So OST. Your boy Brian, tweet at me.